Well, both of our parents were artists, and my dad's been around music for a long time, and he just got us into music at an early age. The first tape we ever owned was in 5th grade. It was a Smith's tape called Strangers Here We Come. The thing that got us into jazz music though was I saw a poster one time of John Coltrane. I was talking to my dad, well, who's John Coltrane? And then the next day he came home with John Coltrane Giant Steps. Amazing record. Ever since then we just got into jazz. Well, we actually both started on guitar, and I started progressing, and Jonathan wasn't really feeling guitar. That was at around 12 years old. Just the whole picking element, I could just never get the hang of it, and also because I never had any motivation to practice. At the young age, I was just like not into the theory and just learning about notes and how the notes work. I just was not into that. So the initial instrument that seemed like the complete opposite was drums. There was a cafe by our house in Cardiff called Miracles Cafe. That was the first time I ever played to a live audience. I just sat in with this band who let me play guitar. I guess a booking agent heard me play, and she wanted to get us in there. Scheduled a night, told all our friends to come, and it was a great experience, so we just kept doing it. We had many different influences besides jazz, like The Clash, The Smiths, the Cocteau Twins, Bruce Springsteen, John Coltrane, all the jazz stuff, Bill Evans, Grant Green, Jackie McLean. Anyways, to make a really successful and powerful album, like channeling all those influences into one like sound. I think it's more of just an unconscious result of all of our inspirations. I'm extremely inspired by an author named Haruki Murakami. Another guy who I'm really into is another Japanese artist named Daido Moriyama, who's a photographer. Daido was just talking about one of his books called Hunting. It was just spurred on by a desire after reading Jack Kerouac's book On the Road. And so he decided to just drive around Japan and take photos like outside of his window. Just the improvisation element of that. I don't know, it just got me thinking in a really creative way and inspired me to continue developing as a drummer and a composer, and to just be immersed in your art form. We've been so involved with improvisation at our school that we're viewing our song as more of like a basis for more experimental improvisations. Playing those songs, the same songs, but taking it to different places than what the album does. Because you already have the album to listen to, and we can never recreate it better than the album itself. So it's better to give someone a new experience. The music industry is just shrinking and shrinking, and it's becoming more of a relationship between the artist and the fans as opposed to some middleman. So I think the artists have this responsibility now to really like get into a deeper connection with the audience, and I think the way we want to do that is by always making each live experience like a new experience for the listener. And anyone from senior citizens to young kids to hipsters to surfers to punkers to skaters. I think that's one of the powerful things about instrumental music is that you can actually play in other countries and they could relate to it too. They don't need to hear a different language. There's no language barrier because there's no language, it's just music, you know. And so the only barrier that can ever happen is just someone who doesn't dig what's going on.